Welcome, Libra, to your December monthly horoscope forecast. This is for the Sun or the Ascendant. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, I'd be honoured if you did so now. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. This month begins with the Sun in the fast-moving third house of your scope. Absolutely perfect for the seasonal festivities. This gives you the desire to mix and mingle. Also Jupiter, the planet of growth, which has been in this sector for a year, for days 1 and 2, are also in the sign of Sagittarius. But as been greatly publicised, Jupiter relocates on the 3rd of December into the sign of Capricorn. This is particularly significant for you because Saturn, the planet of structure, has over the last couple of years really been squeezing this part of your situation to do with your home, your family, your emotions, your sense of security, and anything to do with your immediate environment. And of course, over the last 6 or 7 months, Saturn has been closely allied to Pluto, which has been in this area with a deep dive of changes for you since 2008. Now these two are going to come together into an even tighter combination by the month's end. However, as you begin this month, Venus, your ruler, is also in the same sector, in the sign of Capricorn, but it is in a clinch with Ceres, the asteroid to do with nurture. So if you have been struggling to create the environment, the foundations, the sense of peace and tranquility, which is really important to you, perhaps because there have been big demands around the needs of other family members, or other family members or people close to you have struggled to understand your situation, or perhaps it's been to do with where you've lived, there's been a limitation in terms of your housing requirements, then I do feel some renewal, some healing can go on right at the start of this month. But it's not just from Jupiter, which is going to provide so much support over the next 12 months and 2 weeks, so 54 weeks it's going to be in the sign of Capricorn, but also because Venus and Ceres are in that combination, there can be much more gentle, healing vibes wafting around your situation as this month begins. And that can give you a real sense of anticipation for what the festivities can bring in terms of getting together with others. But your basic sense of identity, your sense of feeling secure is going to be reinforced. And I think that's something to really be pleased about. In terms of Jupiter, of course, it's a much longer lasting influence. It's actually in full in the sign of Capricorn, so it's not its best location, but it's still one that can help you to thrive because Jupiter's been informing your thinking over the last year in a very helpful way. Now it can bring a bit of levitation to that heavy vibe that Saturn has been pressing on your situation. They're polar opposites. Jupiter's about growth, Saturn's about retraction in some ways. So it is going to ease things up. And if you are looking to move, you're looking to change an existing home so it fits your requirements better, you're wanting to add to your family in terms of a new addition, these are very helpful influences as you start this new month. Now, it is true to say that Mercury and also Mars are in the part of your horoscope to do with everyday resources as December begins. But that might have actually been a bit of a niggle for you in the case of Mercury, because since the end of October, the 31st, it went into a retrograde. It emerged from that on the 20th of November, but it won't be until the 7th of this month that it returns to the point where the retrograde began. So it comes out of shadow. So that's something to look forward to. But equally, Mars in this location can give you the desire to spend money. And obviously this can be a very expensive time of the year. So I think generally Mars can be tempered this month, particularly from the 7th through to the 18th, by a gorgeous link to Neptune. Neptune continues to be in the part of your horoscope to do with where you want to be of service, where you want to be sacrificing, around the organisational elements of your life, and even to do with your work. So if you are applying for a job which has some element to it where you are helping people, this can be very positive for you. But on the 4th, there is a quarter moon. So the sun in your 3rd house squares up with the moon in your 6th. This could see you almost trying to be too conscientious, the 6th house, and the 3rd house, nervous energy. But because the quarter moon is right by Neptune, if you overdo it in the following week, you could find yourself feeling quite drained. It's a busy time of the year for us all. Anyway, everyone's trying to spin those extra plates. So it is going to be important to prioritise and know when to say no. And with Neptune squaring up to the Sun over the following week, if you are in a role where people expect a lot of you, it could be quite fatiguing. So it's going to be important to understand how you can reinforce your defences. Fortunately, on the 9th, Mercury moves into Sagittarius. Now, technically, it is in detriment here, but for you, I feel it is going to clarify your thinking. And if there is a bit of a muddle that's come from Sun square to Neptune, Mercury can certainly help. But from the 6th through to the 10th, your ruler Venus is forging a beautiful angle to Neptune. Venus, remember, in the part of your scope to do with home, family, emotions. But this angle here points towards some peace and some kind of initiative taking place. Could be by you, could be by someone you're involved with, where some kind of greater understanding or simpatico can be achieved, which has proved to be remarkably absent over the last few years. It's something to really look forward to. The 12th, however, does see a full moon in your sister air sign of Gemini. So for the next couple of weeks, there's going to be a lot of ideas being shared, a lot of buzzy energy going backwards and forwards. You may even be travelling. Obviously, plan those travels with care. However, it is true that by the 20th, your ruler moves into one of the most glorious parts of your horoscope. It moves into Aquarius. It's going to be there right through Christmas. How wonderful is that? And right through till the 15th of January. This can really bring a much more social and even romantic dimension to bear, especially if you are footloose and fancy free. Now, it is true in the run-up to Christmas that Venus then goes into a right angle with Uranus, the planet of restlessness, of freedom and independence. Is it possible that you are going to find yourself attracted to someone in an almost electric way and could end up having a little bit of a fling with someone, a festive fling at that? Well, you know, with Uranus and Venus squaring up, it is possible. It's also possible that you could feel a bit closed in a romantic relationship which isn't so stimulating. But Christmas Day does bring a beautiful moon position, Sagittarius moon. So that's going to augment, obviously, Mercury that's been in that location. So I do feel generally that there is going to be perhaps the potential for a little bit of restlessness with Venus and Uranus, but also opportunity without doubt. However, on the 22nd, the Sun does move into the sign of Capricorn. And it's also going to be joining up, of course, with Jupiter and also Ceres. And by the end of this month, in fact, the Sun does come into a complete conjunction with Jupiter. So the potential for some healing or some good news around your family circle is enormously good. Is there going to be news of another grandchild, or are you wanting to add to your immediate family? This will certainly be a time when something special can emanate which pleases everybody. Also, as the year comes to a close, not only do we have a solar eclipse which occurs in Capricorn, which is going to be holding you up over the next 6 months to reach those goals about where you want to exist, how you want to shape your immediate world. But also, we have the North Node in Cancer in an opposition with the Sun and Jupiter. But I think this can be an entirely positive collection of energies, and possibly progress you're making in the wider world can feed into the good news story at the core of your existence. We can't deny that Saturn and Pluto are getting closer together as the year comes to a close. So if there is something structurally changing in your world, for example, you're leaving behind a career in a particular environment, or you're moving away somewhere different, or perhaps there's some other big change going on in your world, it's still going to be building up to its peak of the exact conjunction on the 12th of January. But the most delightful piece of news to tell you, Libra, is that as this year closes, not only is Venus in this most gloriously romantic and very attractive and alluring fifth house of yours, it's also conjunct the midpoint between the Sun and the Moon, which is in Aquarius. So as you end this year, I do feel, despite the fact that you may want to be not too far away from where you feel really comfortable, or too far away from the people you feel most at ease with, there is a very playful and potentially romantic dimension as 2019 comes to a close. If you'd like to know what 2020 would hold for you beyond your zodiac or ascendant sign, please see the link beneath this video. You can get 30% off your year ahead forecast. If you order it in 2019, you'll get the rest of that year free. And this will give you the indications of how the current planetary transits are impacting on your natal chart when you were born. So there's lots of information in that goes beyond just being a Libra. But I'd like to also sincerely thank you for all the watches over the last year. If you're a new subscriber, thank you so much for joining me as well. I've gone through some real tough stuff, both personally and health-wise, over the last 3 or 4 years. I've got a Libra and ascendant. It all fits into these transits of tough stuff around the people, the people you think will be there that perhaps aren't always. And I would just like to say to you that I really appreciate all your support. And next year, 2020, I'm going to be even more on sparkling form. There's going to be a lot more videos coming out and a lot more live work too. But for now, have a very happy Christmas, a wonderful new year, good luck, and goodbye.